Hello again, Hues friends. My name is Viper Shark, and I have an update for you. I have updated my 0x40 Hues wallpaper maker from version 5.11 to version 5.2 to correspond with the 0x40 Hues of Halloween version 5.2 update, which was released in 2015. It's currently May 2017, so this video is about 2 years late, but better late than never, I suppose. Version 5.2 of 0x40 Hues came with some new features, including a new UI, which has a gradient overlay, as well as a new invert effect. I've added both of these features to the wallpaper maker, and I will show you how they work. So, we'll open up version 5.2 of Hues, and turn the volume down. Okay, so as you can see, there is a new radial gradient overlay on the Halloween UI. If we remove the UI features, there are also little spider webs in the corner. I haven't added the spider webs to the wallpaper maker, as those are simply for the Halloween update, but I did add the radial gradient that you can see. So we'll go into our resource pack here. Actually, we'll go into the editor, edit the current beat map, and set it to a single colon, which makes it so that we can scroll through colors. Then we'll go into our resource editor, change the song, set it to one song, and set images to the one we want. There we are. And now we can simply use the up and down keys to change colors at will. So the other change that the developers made was they set the default color set to normal instead of pastel as in previous releases. However, these features do still work with pastel in version 4.20 since they're just gradient overlays. So we will open up the wallpaper maker and I will show you how to achieve this effect. So we will open up Photoshop. Again, this is in version CS2, so it should work in any more modern version of Photoshop with no issues. And the first thing you'll see is in the layers column, we have a version 5.2 features folder. Inside is gradient as well as invert. So the current color that we are using in Hues is leaf. So we will open up Photoshop and we will select hard light. We are in the normal color set and we will find leaf. Here we are. And then we will find our waifu, go ahead and paste her onto the layer. I'm using a slightly different picture from the last time because the other one was a bit dithered and it would be a bit difficult to see on this version. Go ahead and stretch that out to the full screen size. Apply the transformation. There we are. And now all we have to do is turn on the gradient overlay, just like that. And now if we pull up 0x40 Hues, there we are. You can see that the effect is more or less the same. Go ahead and zoom in on that. Go to fit screen. There we are. Now, you can see that the gradient effect is more or less the same. I tried to get it as close as I could as possible to the same color values. It's not 100% perfect because the one in Hues is actually programmatically made, and this one is just kind of a layer style. But I tried to get it as close as I could given the screen size. So I'll now show you how the invert feature works. So all you have to do is go into editor and then change your beat map. You want to put a lowercase I, that is the invert command, and then simply press up or down on the keyboard and that will invert your colors. Anything under the invert layer, of course, is inverted. So we have our gradient, which is above the invert layer. The gradient stays how it is, and we simply turn on invert in Photoshop. And then you get the same effect. You have the light purple on top of the dark purple for this color. And of course, this isn't its own color. This is just an invert effect on top of the colors that exist. So leaf, which is green, inverts to purple. As you can see, if I turn leaf off, what was black before has become white, what was white before has become black. It's more or less the same difference. So it works the same way for every other color. It's just a simple black to white inversion. So we'll find a different color in hues just to show that it works. And we will go here, put in a colon. Unfortunately, to be able to change the color, you have to actually change the beat map. And that will put you back to default colors. So now we're on, actually, let's go to spring. Now that's another green one. Let's do orange. That'll work. So then we will set that to invert. Invert the color. And now it's a nice blue. Go ahead and turn it to orange in Photoshop. And there we are. So that's pretty much how to do it. You can just turn invert on or off. You can play around with your color choices. Again, because you're in hard light, you can make whatever colors you want, not even ones that are necessarily part of hues. And you can also invert those. You can play around with having the gradient on or off while the inversion is on. Let's go ahead and set it back to one color. So let's say you want red with inverted and gradient, or no gradient, or just gradient. You can pick any color choice you want and it will work for you. Now there is one big difference between this version and the last version that I'll need to go over, and that is how to resize it to fit your monitor. Now go ahead and turn the colors off here and fit screen. Now in the last video, the way you resized the image was to go to canvas size, set it to pixels, and then to set it to whatever you want. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't work with version 5.2 of the Wallpaper Maker, because if you go to canvas size, that will simply add onto your image, which will put a blank area onto the image, or it will cut areas off of the image. And since we're using a gradient, which is just an overlay and not an actual layer feature, it will mess that up more or less. So you don't want to use canvas size. Instead, you want to use image size, and then you can change pixels in there. So let's say we want to set it to 640 by 480. You go into image size and then set that. So let me turn the gradient on, just turn on the color so you can see what's going on. Now, if I were to go to canvas size, let's just say I wanted 640 by 480 to show you what would happen if I did that. 640 by 480. And as you can see, it'll say some clipping will occur. So basically, it'll cut the image to the size that I want rather than actually resizing it. And that is, of course, not the intended effect. So instead, you want to go to image size, and this will scale the image rather than actually cutting it. So you want to make sure constrained proportions is turned off, because I use a 16 by 10 monitor resolution. And you want to pick the resolution you want. So just hypothetically 640 by 480. Make sure constrained proportions is off so it won't stay to my screen ratio, and then click OK. And it will go ahead and start cutting your image down. So you just wait for this bar to finish. And there we go. So now we have a actual pixels. Now we have a 640 by 480 image with the gradient intact, and it simply scaled it to the proper colors. And that's pretty much how you do it. So you can still turn the gradient on or off. You can change the colors to whatever you want, and same difference. Also, you can still invert like that. So you can pick whatever screen size you want, whatever resolution, then go from there. And that's pretty much all there is to it. It's not hard to use. I guess that's about it. So I will see you next time, and good luck, and I hope you create something good.